Good evening once again. Welcome to Seaside Chat, another program in this series, Demystifying Marine Spatial Planning, or MSP. This evening I'm going to be chatting with the Deputy Project Manager, Richard Suku, and the Chief Fisheries Officer, Dr. Shelley-Ann Cox. Richard, MSP, can you explain what that means and why it is crucial for Barbados?
Thank you, Trevor. So marine spatial planning is a process used to rationalize the use of the marine space. Typically, it does this by distributing different activities and uses, both temporally and spatially. So why it's important? So in the nearshore areas around Barbados, you will see that there are many activities that occur. We're talking, jet skis, tourism operations, fishing, scuba diving, all kind of things happen in our marine space. The problem is that some of these uses are not compatible, right? So to make sure that we reduce conflicts between these uses, we need to make sure that we allocate them to different spaces sometimes. So in addition to the conflicts between users, there may also be user-environment conflicts where the impact of the uses on the environment needs to be managed to ensure that there's no sustainability. And the MSP will help toward that.
What role does research and education play in the success of the MSP initiatives?
We start with research first. So as I mentioned, there are a lot of things that go on in the marine space. We're talking about users and uses as well as resources. In order to inform the marine spatial plan and make decisions about how we distribute all the activities and what we use to conserve and so on, we have to know more about the activities, and the resources. And this is where research comes in. In many cases, there may be mapping exercises to go and ascertain where some of these resources are, assessments to figure out the quality of these resources, and then we have to talk to people. People are essential to this marine spatial plan because these are the users. So we talk to them to figure out what it is they do, what it is they value, what the conflicts that exist, and all of this information comes together to inform the marine spatial plan. Now when it comes to education, as I said, people are central. However, when we're speaking about very technical issues like marine spatial planning, there isn't a lot of information out there for people to really understand what it is that we're doing. And if they don't understand, the inputs that we get from them might not be appropriate for what we're trying to do.
Shelley-Ann, how does MSP impact the management of the fish stock and fishing practices in Barbados?
Marine spatial planning is really a positive intervention. It is a participatory approach where several marine stakeholders come together to discuss and negotiate what's best for the country. We know that there are several interactions, several operators in the space. This is clearly seen in Carlisle Bay and Old Town every day. Cats, jet skis, swimmers. So hence why we need to find a balance, and we need to be able to organize among ourselves how we will allocate these spaces, and then how it would lead to a positive implementation going forward. Marine protected areas, which would be inside of a marine managed area, sometimes has no-take zones. For instance, Folkestone, where there are penalties and fines if you're caught fishing illegally within that protected area. Now, those measures were really put in place to allow areas to rehabilitate. We know that we're seeing decreasing stocks of reef fish, for example. So measures like no-take areas, after years you can see the impact. You see larger fish sizes, you see more fish, and then there are spillover effects to places where there is open to fishing. Although we may have to work very closely with our fishers to negotiate if we want to close off any other areas, but I think what should be a priority is for us to look at traditional fishing grounds and how we can go about making them fishing priority areas, or how we can identify sensitive and important ecosystems